now I want to talk to you about some of your training methods. Now, let me go ahead and share my screen here. I got that video up that you posted last week of the head movement drills, which I thought
Mhm.
was just great stuff. And Lisa
Thank
was
you.
talking about it in the chat. So here we are here. Hopefully you guys can see that. So I'm gonna go ahead and play it. Now I know you were explaining in the video while it's playing there, but again, let us know what level are these two students of yours on, and what's going on here.
So, the guy in the gray hoodie, that's one of my sons. He was national tournament. He was, national champion. And way back when they had the under 19, he won the bronze there. He's also 5-0 as a professional, but he took off for 2 weeks. 2 months, 2 years. Sorry, COVID and all that stuff. So he's just coming back, to get in shape. And then the young man in the black, Daniel, he's actually from Mexico. He came to train with us because he's getting ready for his nationals in Mexico. And so here, they're slipping, they're leaning back, they're rolling. And like I said, it's repetition. Here,
Yes.
we go 3 minutes because they're ready. If they're not in shape, we do 5-minute rounds, and then we scale it back to 4 minutes, but then we stick to the 3 minutes because that's what they're going to compete at. It's repetition, it's muscle memory. So we do a lot of things over and over and over again. So they don't have to think about that, because if
Mm-hmm.
you have to think about getting your head offline, rolling, leaning back and punching and moving your feet and everything else all at one time, you kind of get stuck in the mud. So
Yeah.
we want everything to flow. So we just do it over and over and over again, everything that we work on. And we have different things that we work on daily. But it all comes back around.
Yeah, no, it makes absolute sense. And my man Renee is saying we definitely repetition is key. Yes, we learn through repetition. Yeah, like you said, when you're in a fight, it's not choreographed. A fight is spontaneous. So,
Right.
like you said, the more that it becomes second nature, the more
Hmm.
it'll just happen without you having to
Yes.
think about, like you said, let me get my head offline while I'm moving in or while I'm punching or things like that. So definitely makes a ton of sense to me.
Yeah. And it takes someone who is some boxers, male or female, that are really, really dedicated and really, really want this, because it does get boring because sometimes you're doing the same thing over and over again. And that's where, like I said earlier, we kind of lose that at the forefront when people come in and they're like, okay, we keep doing this and this and this and this and that, when are we going to move on to this, or when are we going to do that? Well, whenever you have this down perfectly and we don't have to correct you, and you feel comfortable, and we see that you're retaining everything that we teach you, that's when we move on to something else. The
Mm,
basics have been lost. I've been to many gyms and seen a lot of boxers, and it's heartbreaking because they cannot even move their feet, or they have their hands down, or their head is right there in the middle on the line, and they're just receiving the punches. And you hear some coaches saying, and I don't, I'm not better than anybody. I'm still learning, and I always will. God willing. Oh, you're tough, or oh, you could take a punch, so just walk through them. That's what happened to me when I first went to the gym.
mm.
I was sparring, and the coaches were like, oh, you hit her harder, walk her down, you could take that shot. And it's things have changed. It's like
Yeah.
literally hit and do not get hit. And there's techniques on training a boxer how to do that. And the thing is, if you're not doing it when you're shadow boxing, these things, if you're not doing it when you're hitting bags, if you're not doing it when you're doing mitts, or sparring, you're not going to do it on the big stage when it's fight night. You don't
Hmm.
just, oh, now I need to hold my hands up. No, if you're not doing it in practice in the gym, you're not going to do it on the big stage. People don't
Yeah.
realize that.
That very true. Very, very true. So now I'm going to show. Here's another one that you shared with us today. Really good video that, again, once again, I enjoyed. But here we see them hitting the bag. So kind of walk us through what's going on here, Christine.
So one thing that I really like preach to my boxers is to not be predictable. Everybody expects you to jab at the head. That's just what we're all taught to do. I want them to jab the body, the head, back to the body. So this is a drill actually that Coach Billy Walsh has us do too. It's like you hit head, body, head, body, head, head. So you're moving up and down, and you see how they're moving around the bag. So after you attack, there needs to be a second attack, a third attack. You can't just stay there and wait for someone to counter. Again, this is repetition. I think it was like every 15 seconds, I had them changing, from head, body, head to body, to head, body, body, and back and forth. And you just mix it up, because you don't want your opponent that's standing in front of you to know what you're gonna shoot,
Yes.
And you need to be able to move to the right, to the left, forward, backwards. There's been many times when it's like, I'll tell one of my guys or girls, they can't step to the right, so cut them off, or they don't know how to fight backwards. Or when they come forward, their head's on the line. So if there's a good coach on the other side, then they're going to pick up those things, and then they're going to tell their athlete. So our boxers need to be able to do whatever, whenever, with no problem, where they're not predictable and the other coach doesn't know what they're going to do next.
Yeah. And I just love seeing that duct tape on those bags. I mean, that is just, whoo, that is all the way,
real.
Man. Yeah, that is gym all the way right there.
Yeah,
man. I love that.
It is. It's cold in the winter and hot in the summer.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So I see also here, they're sitting down under punches very, very well.
Yes.
So talk a little bit about that, about, footwork and foot placement while punching.
Yeah, definitely. Whenever they're throwing, like, the backhand, the right hand, they need to be sitting down on the shot, and then they can begin to move again with, there's other drills I'm going to post about, feinting, jabbing, and everything else. But, one thing too is, like, don't bend your back. I mean, I've seen, we do some exercises, and I haven't posted them yet, where, we're actually squatting, but our back is straight. Because it's almost like you want to sit down. That's why it's sit down on your shot, sit down on your punches, not lean over, and bend your back. You should never, ever let your chin pass your knee.
Yes.
It's you're ready for an uppercut. You're not in balance. Somebody shoots something. You're not in balance, and you're gonna fall backwards. It's you've got to be planted when you're throwing those shots, and then get going again. Don't let them counter, get your second attack before they can reset.
Yes.
So those are just some of the drills. I have many more that I want to share, because I really feel like I said, I don't know everything, but I want to share what I'm learning, from someone who I feel is a master.
Thank you all so much for watching this clip from the Gym Chronicles. Link to the full video will be in the description. Don't forget to subscribe to In the Ring with Christine and this channel as well.